All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack Fantasy Baseball Busts Edition. This time we're doing hitters. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me down there, Mr. Dap Scout.
How you doing, Joe?
Good,
I'm
man.
so excited to be here, bud. And all this talk backstage about how old we are definitely makes me feel like I'm a bust. So I am just gonna let you know right now that for the people that we're going to talk about, I feel your pain. I used to be a Major League Baseball player, and I know what it's. No, I have no idea what it's like. So
Not at all.
still excited to be here, though.
Business first, though. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We appreciate it. Leave those comments. We love hearing from you. And of course, jump over to fantasysixpack.net/plans. Become an all access member. You're going to get access to our draft cheat sheets, which were just updated as of March 3rd. We're recording this, but they will be updated frequently during the off season here.
Yep.
Our award winning rankings, our projections, our members only channels on Discord. And then during the season, probably the best of all, you get access to all the DFS advice that Dave Eddy and company are going to win you basically it pays for the subscription, right? So there you go. And then some. So jump on over there and join us. But let's jump into our first bust here. I think we're leading the way with Cody Bellinger. Ooh,
Okay, so before I get all the Cubs lovers, by the way, in every one of my fantasy leagues, I don't know what it is. It seems like all the industry leagues I'm in, there is so many Cubs fans. It's ridiculous. But I look
Listen,
at
Beckner, earplugs.
yes. I look at Bus in two ways, right? Somebody who obviously the way to look at it is right. Somebody's like, getting third round, but doesn't deliver. And it's like the 19th round, he just completely messed up. I look at it a different way for this, right? I want somebody who's not returning close to value. Cody Bellinger last year was one of our sleepers, actually. We looked at the fact that he was getting a change of scenery, that he was perfect for Wrigley Field. And guess what? We kind of called it not this. We never would have thought he had this. But, contract year, everything kind of played towards a breakout year. The reason why I think he's a bust is because that breakout year is now baked into the price. People are expecting that breakout to be where he's at this next year. And that just, to me, does not work. If you look at the last 4 years, you're looking at somebody that had, 239 batting average, 165, 210, and then, again, the magical 307 this past year. I don't want to bet that he's going to repeat 2023 next year exactly or be at that level. And for that reason, I'm out as, the Mark Cuban, right? Like I'm out. With 2024 projections you see there from our F6P amazing projection analyst award winner there, Joe Bond,
Those
again,
aren't mine. Those are more Keith's than mine.
My bad. Okay.
Give him credit.
All right, fine, Keith. Keith, who doesn't get video game jokes, Keith. Okay, so look, we projected his batting average is going to fall at least 50 points. That his OBP is going to be 30 points lower. Slugging, that's where he got a lot of his value this past year as well, is going to drop almost 75 points. Again, where you have to draft Cody Bellinger, where I see his ADP anywhere from he was being picked as high as number 21 off the board to as low as 61 and an ADP around 50 to 52. When you're looking at that, I just don't see that value. He has so little room to mess up there, and I just think that's a bust.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm looking at like the hitters around his range. And there's a lot of question marks in that range. So
Right.
I don't blame you for including him in that group, but I mean,
give me some of the hitters. I want to hear some of the hitters.
One of them's mine, so we'll jump to that. I'll leave that one out
well
here.
Then.
So right above him, Manny Machado, I think easy. But then you got Mike Trout, CJ Abrams, Kyle Schwarber, Nico Horner, Paul Goldschmidt, Royce Lewis, Nolan Jones, Matt McLean. And so on.
But that's a lot of infielders there too. That again, we're outfield. You have a lot more kind of depth.
First base too, though. So yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
First base, and
Well, then he's not a bust. Get it rid of. Oh my god, his first base eligibility is no kidding.
Oh yeah. But
all right, Joe, what do you got as your bust? Please tell me it's another Cubby.
well, no, but staying in the NL, and I said his name at the end there, Mr. Nolan Jones,
Oh yeah,
going right in that same territory. Oh, I get it. It's so enticing to look, Colorado player, right? You're like, oh
right,
man, you love Colorado. A guy who can hit in Colorado,
right.
stamp it. It's gonna be awesome. Careful, right? There is a lot to be scared about with Nolan Jones, in my opinion. I know the 2020 is there, and you're loving it from last season. But if you look at the projections, yes, the power might go up a little bit. The speeds, I would say, might drop slightly. Even if you get another 2020, the thing that really scares me is the batting average. And I know you're looking at these minor league stats here and you're seeing like, look, AAA, he hit 356 in 2023. And that's what obviously propelled him to come up, like that. Um, you know, 276 in 2022. So good, solid batting average. If you look at his batting average last year in the underlying metrics, man, his expected batting average was 247. He had a crazy 401 BABIP. That's not being repeated. Like, that is like elite level BABIP. Like, I don't know, man. Like a 21, almost 30% strikeout percentage here. Walks a fair amount. So in OBP leagues, I think I'm still more okay with him because of that. But in your standard average leagues, I'm shying away from him in that territory. Like, I'm afraid his batting average is going to plummet like a rock, down to that 260, maybe even 250 range.
Right.
And, despite him playing in cores, like, it's just not gonna. I mean, like, let's be real. Like, there's what, 3 players on that course in that Rockies lineup that we care about.
Right.
So some of the counting stats, the runs and the RBI, get hampered because of that. But yeah, I mean, like, I said it before, like his ADP is right around that range. I just listed off a whole bunch of names. I get it. They're all question marks, right? Goldschmidt, we don't know, had a bad season. Royce Lewis is injury prone, right? Nico Horner, is a good player. We love him, but he's obviously very like team dependent, like your team build dependent. Like, you can't just take him, on any team build, right? Schwarber is awesome, but obviously not a 5 category guy. There's a lot of question marks in here. Trout, huge injury history. So I get, taking a chance on him, but I don't think he's going to live up to a top 6 round ADP at this point.
Yeah, I think Nolan Jones he's prospect circles and dynasty circles. We've known about Nolan Jones back in his Cleveland days. He was one of those top waiver wire picks for us. I want to say 4 weeks, not in a row, but 4 times we highlighted him. He was just killing it in Colorado. Mm-hmm. But I think at the same time, like you said, there's a lot of luck in play. There's also the fact it's Colorado, but you're asking for a lot from Nolan Jones to kind of reproduce that. And what you just said, right? There's a lot more people in that round or around that pick that I would feel a lot safer with. And I might be able to even wait for a little bit there than get a Nolan Jones. So I couldn't agree with you more there. But it pains me a little bit because I was so excited about him as a waiver wire pickup. Just don't know if I'm willing to pay that price.
Yeah, I'm just looking up something real quick. So of players who had at least 400 plate appearances, Nolan Jones had the highest BABIP in the majors last year.
Wow.
Just to put a few names in play here. So Freddie Freeman only had a 370 BABIP only. It's still incredibly high, but like that just tells you how much luck went in Nolan Jones' favor. Like, it's going to come crashing down on you. Do not buy the batting average. Buy the steals,
right?
Buy the moderate steals and power. Don't believe the batting average. So moving on here to your next one, Dap. Got Cedric Mullins. This is fighting words, bro.
Again, I'm talking about people, returning value, and I purposely picked Cedric Mullins because I wanted to fight you. So Here's a couple things here that I think stand out for me with Cedric Mullins, right? Uh, Back even just 2 years ago, right? We were looking at Mullins as 5 category producer, and the fact that he was bringing stolen bases. But let's talk about a couple things here. Stolen bases are cheap now, and we called out it was going to be cheap last season, and we were definitely right there. Um, the other thing here too is it's not an old man. He hasn't gone off the cliff, but the Orioles are so stacked that I would be concerned that they start resting him, that he becomes a 4 time a week player. Not that they were trying to do that, but that they definitely want his veteran presence, and that they're going to start pulling back his playing time. I mean, look at the fact that his plate appearances. Yes, he was injured, but look, his plate appearances are definitely coming back, and they need him in that lineup later on, especially when they make that postseason run. So I feel like in a stacked organization like that, where they have so many different players that are just knocking on the door, that they have like 800 infielders that they need to find positions for. Where did those infielders go? The outfield. And I just feel like they're gonna, want to put him somewhere. And if they can get, if they need to get another pitcher, I have a feeling that Cedric Mullins might be the person that they put out there. He's still, I'd probably say, really good to almost elite center fielder still, even though he is slowed down. But again, I see him being the person that's going to be pushed out because of his youth movement as well. And I don't want to be somebody who pays for Cedric Mullins and then finds out 70 games in, 80 games in, that they start making him, I would hate to say platoon again, Cedric Mullins, it's blasphemy. But I mean, there's so much that I would be excited about. The Norbies of the world, the Mayos of the world, they have to have a place to play. And where are you gonna put him? This is really what it comes down to. His exit velocity again. Halpert at Imaginary Brick Wall, talks about the fact that he doesn't hit the ball, weekly still. He's average-ish about almost 90 miles an hour exit velocity, great launch angle at 21.6 degrees. But, last year he had those lower body injuries. And when that happens, your power hitter, you start getting sapped. Yep. And you start seeing that, slugging was still kind of in line with last year, but you started seeing a lot of these other things as well. And again, he doesn't hit in a ballpark that leads to power. When we left Nolan Jones in Happy Colorado, now we're in Camden Yards, which doesn't like power.
Which gets forgotten, I think, by the average fantasy player. You think Camden Yards, a lot of balls fly out the park. Not anymore, unfortunately.
Right.
That 30-30 season's never happening again for Cedric Mullins. Let's put it that way. I could see upwards of 30 stolen bases if he stays healthy, but the power is going to be moderate at best, maybe 20. And I mean, look, a 20-30 season is nothing to sneeze at.
No,
let's be real about it.
Right.
It's the batting average. Like, we're just seeing it drop consistently, and
Right.
maybe last year was kind of the bottom of the barrel, but
yeah, and I mean, look, he had a groin injury. I get it, and that those can linger. But at the same time, I want to find in that early rounds in this ranking, I want to find somebody who is going to provide me a little bit more value and a little bit more stability that I could just set and forget.
Sure.
All right, Joe, who's your next one? Are you gonna hurt me? Are you gonna hurt me?
Last is Bo Bichette.
Ooh, look at all those bold numbers where he led the league, and you're gonna call out Bo Bichette. Wow.
I know there's a lot of Bo Bichette fans out here, especially still for fantasy, but look, I'm looking at a guy now who he's a good hitter.
Wow.
Right?
Just good.
Let's put it that way. Like, he's a good hitter, but I don't know if he's somebody, especially in round I'm looking at an ADP right now of 39 on average. We're looking at a guy who is going ahead of Randy Rosarina, Manny Machado, Adolis Garcia, right after Adley Rushman, right? Like, guys like that. Like, I don't know what Bo Bichette does for me outside of batting average that's going to win me a league at that price range.
Right.
20 home runs. There are dozens more players left in the draft at this point that will get me 20 home runs pretty easily. 5 stolen bases. That's the scariest thing. We've seen his stolen bases go from 25 to 13 to 5. And as far as I know, there really wasn't an injury last year that held it back, right? And that's when everybody was running like crazy. I mean, Freddie Freeman had 20 stolen bases. What? Like, come on. This guy's 36 years old.
Right.
Something's wrong here, man. Like, and look, Bichette is a fine baseball player, very good defensively. You know, I think there is more than what we got last year from him, but I don't know if it's enough to say he's worth a what, third to fourth round pick here, 12 or 15 team, depending on what you're looking at. That's pricey for me to get a 20 and 10 guy. Uh, like, really? I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I'd much rather have some of these other guys who are going to potentially like catapult me up in some of these, counting stat categories. And look, I get it. Batting average, that we've got to account for that. So that is a huge factor there, but it's not enough alone. So I'm out on Bo Bichette's price range.
Poor Bo.
So. Sorry, man.
Well,
All
hey,
right.
Joe,
Well, that is what
I was just gonna say, man, another amazing busting. I expect a lot of hate mail.
Oh yeah, these are the fun ones. These are the you guys are so stupid. And
you're an idiot.
bring it. I'm fine. I'm sure we'll be wrong on quite a few of these. Like
hope so.
everybody is in the industry, but they're fun to talk about and guess on. So we do our research. It is what we think. So again, thank you for tuning in to our hitters edition of our 2024 Fantasy Baseball Bus. I'm Joe Bond. This is Dap Scout. Hey, I pointed the right way. I didn't think I would. I'm still bad at this. Subscribe, like, comment, become an All Access member, and see you next time.
Yep.